Cheers, everybody. Hopefully you're all doing good. Last video I made for you talked about making the visor for my sound wave helmet. Today I'm moving on to the next step of the process and I'm painting it. So I decided I'm gonna put together a whole video for you and show you the painting process for me from start to finish. The one thing I'm not gonna be showing you though is heat sealing this because I've already done it. So I'll just explain it to you real quick. So the way I heat seal these things, I just hold my heat gun about 6 to 8 inches away from these things and I have it on high and I just quickly go back and forth. And basically what I'm looking for is, you can see on there, that foam kind of has like a shine to it. That's what you're looking for. That's when you know it's heat sealed and it's ready for paint. I will caution you though, when you heat seal something like this, be careful on your seams, be careful on your spots you have glue or hot glue because you will melt it. And if it's a seam, it'll expand and pop open and you don't want to do that. So be very cautious, do not overheat anything. You can also melt your foam as well. It's about 49 degrees in my shop right now. I got my heat going, trying to warm them up. I got my Plasti Dip sitting right here. You usually want your Plasti Dip to be about 55 degrees or higher, and that's going to be the best temperature to get the spray to come out of the nozzle the right way. So make sure you have your Plasti Dip at the right temperature. Hopefully I don't run out of Plasti Dip. We're self-quarantined right now because of COVID-19. Just trying to maintain healthiness. So hopefully I don't run out because I am running low. I only have one full can and then I have 2 half cans. And usually a half can doesn't work too well, but we'll see what we got. Today's beer is actually not open right now because it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So I need to maintain, even though it's a Sunday and self-quarantined, still need to maintain so I can build stuff. But this is a Hop Juju. This is from Fatheads Brewery in Cleveland, Ohio. This is an awesome beer. I have had this before. I can assure you that throughout this process, I will be drinking a couple different beers, and I'll let you know what they are as I'm doing it. Because painting isn't a quick process. It takes time. You got to let it dry, especially with Plasti Dip. You want to let it sit for at least 30 minutes between coats. But that's pretty much all I have. Let's start painting. Alright, so I got my first coat here, Plasti Dip, all done. Something you really need to kind of pay attention to is when you're doing this, say if you're doing one side of this thing, you got the overspray hitting over here. So when you're doing it, just make sure you're not putting on too much, because if you do with the Plasti Dip, it will gather and it will run and it'll look terrible. So just be really careful when you're doing it to not overspray too much on a spot you already painted. You can still see some of the gray underneath. Typically when I use Plasti Dip, I like to use a different color to contrast what the color of the foam is underneath it, so I can see where my weak spots are, where I need to hit some more. So it might kind of look like a shine to you, but I can see that there's gray here, there's gray here, there's gray in this corner. So it's just a really good indicator of how much my coverage is. So just a little tip for you. You don't have to do that, it just makes it a little bit easier. We're gonna let this dry for a little bit, come back, hit it again. I got 3 coats of Plasti Dip on this. Next we're going to be moving on to the enamel. This is a metallic, kind of aluminum metallic, just regular old enamel paint. And we're going to be painting, this is a 2-tone colored helmet. So we're going to be painting one portion first. I'm going to tape it off and then paint the next part. If you're curious how I decide what part I'm going to paint first, I usually do it, whichever part's going to be easier to tape off after I do it, that's what I'm going to do first. I wouldn't want to do anything crazy in here and try and tape that off because it just makes for a long day. But otherwise, I'm going to be painting this, this, and this with this one here. And you also don't want to put painter's tape on Plasti Dip because it'll peel right off. So here we go. While I'm waiting for this silver paint to dry, getting ready for taping it off, figured I'd show you my paint booth, because I'm sure I'll get the question how I made that or what it looks like, but here you go. So I have an air filter in the back with a fan on the outside going out through my garage. This piece right here is so it prevents the spray paint from hitting the filter directly and clogging up faster. And then I have my homemade Lazy Susan, which I work on right here. And you get the hardware for that at Lowe's. So there you go. It's pretty simple, but it works really good. Yeah, that's awesome beer. All right, so I got 2 coats on here of the silver paint. I don't think it needs any more than that. I'm gonna tape this off now. Taped off, ready to go. We're gonna be painting blue and top paint on this stuff. That's looking pretty good. Empty. Good thing I got another one now. I told you I'd be drinking a couple beers through this process. This one here, Lakeshore Fog, Southern Tier Brewing in New York. Yeah. Yep, that's a good one too. All right, so I got all my paint on this thing. Now it's time to weather this thing and add a little bit more wear to it. For weathering, I'm using Sharpies, acrylic paint. This is a flat black. Need a brush and a towel. I'm going to be taking the Sharpies, going around the edges here, and then taking my flat acrylic paint into these spots here and just make it look like it's kind of catching some dirt. That turned out really good. Really happy with the results. Real nice wear, battle damage, weathering. The colors are just awesome. That's awesome. Exactly what I was looking for. Hey, I really hope this helped you out with your next project, your current project, or anything that you got going on. Maybe just taking your mind off of what's happening in the world today. Everybody needs a little bit of a time off from that every now and again. But If you have any kind of questions about what I did, any kind of techniques I use, please leave your questions in the comments section. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. You can always check out my current projects on Instagram at BMBids or on Facebook at BMB Cosplay. Until next time, cheers.